So the first thing let's talk about is yarn. So I highly recommend using worsted weight, medium 4 weight yarns. And I only have Hobby Lobby, Walmart, and the Dollar Tree to choose from for my yarn supplies locally. My favorite yarn is, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's my favorite one to use. It's so soft on my hands. It's nice to work with, and it comes in so many colors. I also highly recommend this Mainstays brand at Walmart, the Red Heart yarn at Walmart. It comes in so many different colors and is wonderful for the shelf sitter because it keeps its shape very well. I personally can't hardly use Red Heart because it tears up my hands. The Dollar Tree carries Premier yarns, and they work up for shelf sitters wonderfully. So I highly recommend all of those. I do not recommend baby weights or sport weights because of their softness and how small they are. I just don't think that they would hold the definition needed for a shelf sitter, but they might. And I have had a tester use cotton, and it looked wonderful. I don't know if it worked good. These are kind of small. Your stitches are fairly small, and so I don't really know if it was hard to work with or if it was fairly easy to work with. So the next thing let's talk about is hooks. Personally, I only use clover hooks because I have a problem with my hand, and so this is the only hook that does not hurt my hand. Plus, the hook part of it does not seem to split yarns like a lot of my other hooks did. You'll also need a yarn needle, and I highly recommend the bent yarn needles. Oh my gosh, this is like a game changer. I bought these online. I don't even remember where from. They were fairly cheap for a little package of them, but they are the best. Oh my gosh, game changer. Now, since all of my shelf sitter patterns are written to be done in the round with no joins, you will need a stitch marker. And since my rounds are fairly small, I don't like to have to close my stitch markers. So I have these, but I don't like using them because I don't like having to close them and then open them back up, and just sticking them in, they fall out. So I like using these, and I think these may be for knitting. I think I actually got these out of a Learn to Knit kit that I had. But these, you just poke right in there and flip it around, and then it stays until you come back around, and then you just flip it over and pull it out. So I really like these. Okay, so for my shelf sitter, in order for it to be a shelf sitter, it has to have a flat bottom. So to make that flat bottom, I use plastic canvas. This is plastic canvas. This can be bought at Walmart or your local craft store. I got this one, well, I'm not even sure where I got this one, but I know I got it for fairly cheap for 6 pieces. But you can get one sheet of it for under $1 usually. And this does come in different sizes. With my shelf sitters, don't worry about the size. The size is only if you're doing the plastic canvas cross stitch. And it just means however many squares per inch that's the size. But like I said, you don't have to worry about that. You're just needing it for stability only. So you can use the plastic canvas for the base, or I have also found that you can also use canning lids or jar lids, maybe a jelly jar lid or something like that. Something small enough to fit down in your base, and it makes a very flat surface. Like this little guy, he is made with a jar lid, and I really, really, really loved how he turned out. Also, you're going to need something to put in that is weighted. So this little guy, I only made him with stuffing. I did not put any weights in him. He falls over. So that is why it's so important to put weights in your shelf sitters. This guy, I constantly have to prop up against something. This guy, look at that. No propping needed. He sits just fine and dandy. So that's why it's so important to use weights. Now, when I first started doing these, I used these poly pellets. These are tiny little pellets, so you will need to put them into something else, such as a stocking or a piece of tights, or a lot of times I'll get a little bag of baby socks at a thrift store and wash them up and use those. But you always got to put it into something, because these will work out of your stitches, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want a choking hazard. You don't want to lose your weights. So definitely you have to put these into something. These are pricey. So this is 24 ounces, and at Walmart this bag is over $15. So that's fairly pricey. My tester, Donette, she gave the wonderful advice of using these glass gems from the Dollar Tree as your weights. So you can see that they're fairly small. And there's 16 ounces here, and for $1.25. You can also get these at Walmart, and it's 98 cents at Walmart, and it's only for 12 ounces. So per ounce, it's about the same price. Either way, you just get more in a bag from the Dollar Tree. And what you do is, once you get up so far on your doll, then you're going to pour those gems inside of your doll, and then you're going to take your stuffing, and you want to stuff between your gems and the outside of the doll, or inside, however you want to look at it, the body. You want to stuff the stuffing between the gems and the body of the doll. That way it doesn't show the bulges of the gems in your shelf sitter body. I do not recommend using beans, rice, lentils, any type of food like that for the shelf sitters. And the reason is bugs, nasty bugs. Plus you can't wash them. And if something was to happen and you was to need to wash it, you don't want to have to be washing it with rice or something in it. That would be so nasty. So I highly recommend, the best option is using these guys. Now these are not toys. They are decorations. They are not meant for toys. So if you are making a shelf sitter for a child or a child's room, I don't know if I would recommend these glass beads. I don't think I would. I think I would lean more towards the poly pellets placed inside of a sock or a stocking or something. Okay. And one more thing. Let's talk about safety eyes. So I use 12 millimeter safety eyes for most of my shelf sitter patterns, and I just buy those in a small package from Hobby Lobby. They're fairly inexpensive, and I think they might, well, I'm not going to say how many's in a package. I don't really remember. You can embroider your eyes on your shelf sitter, and I highly recommend that if you do, just use yarn instead of trying to use embroidery floss or the crochet thread. I have done both of those, and I have found that the easiest thing to use is just yarn, like your black yarn, a little bit of white. Perfect. Okay guys, that concludes this video about the supplies needed for my shelf sitter patterns. Thank you for watching.